All right, hello everybody. Welcome to a brand new live stream. This is a live stream or a video that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. Just because I have over 2,600 hours in Dead by Daylight right now, mostly played as a survivor. So this is a survivor-oriented tip live stream where I am going to go through for new people who purchase Dead by Daylight and who want to play the survivor aspect of the game. I'm not a great killer, so I'll leave the killer tips and suggestions and stuff like that to somebody else who's better at the killer aspect of the game. But this live stream is definitely targeting new players to Dead by Daylight who jump into the survivor role and want tips on how to survive. It can be really frustrating and really daunting, especially if you're playing solo Dead by Daylight and you don't really have anybody to turn to as far as asking questions or anything like that. So in this live stream, I want to take your questions, or if you're out there and maybe you've played Dead by Daylight, maybe you're an experienced Dead by player, but if you have a question that you think a new player might have playing Dead by Daylight, be sure you ask it in the chat so that I'll see it and hopefully can answer that question in case anybody watches this, this video later. Maybe that question will be a question they would have. So don't be afraid to ask any questions, guys, that you might have as far as Dead by Daylight. And if I can't find the answer, I'll definitely get you an answer, like if it's, related to a specific perk or something like that. But really, this live stream, I don't want this live stream to be too technical about going over every little detail of every perk, because the perks can change in Dead by Daylight over time, and the way the game works can change as they make changes and balance the game, etc. But really, I want to just kind of give people a general idea of how to play Dead by Daylight, what you're looking to do, how to survive, and stuff like that. Granted, I am not the best survivor, I'm not the best Dead by Daylight player out there, but I have enough experience and I have enough knowledge of the game to have a good idea on how to start out and maybe how to increase your chances of surviving at low rank. So this is a brand new Dead by Daylight account. This is a Humble Bundle key that I had for Dead by Daylight. I activated it on a new account I made several months ago for my son and I, a new Steam account that my son and I share. So like if I ever get a game, for example, from a developer that my son might be interested in playing, and he wants to play it without interrupting my own account, like logging onto my account and using my account to play it, I activate that key on this account. That way my son and I both have access to that particular game. So kind of a new account here on Steam as of a few months ago. It's one my son and I share, and this is a brand new Dead by Daylight account, so I'm not going to have any ranked up survivors. I'm going to be all rank 20, just like if you were buying Dead by Daylight today, you're going to see the similar kind of thing. So first thing you got to do when you launch Dead by Daylight is, agree to the in-license agreement. You're just going to go ahead and read every word of that. Make sure you memorize every single word and term in this agreement. I'm just kidding. Simply hit the accept button, guys, and behave yourself. Don't be calling people racial slurs and being extremely toxic in this game. So you're probably going to see something about a season ending when you do it, and the first thing you're going to see when you launch the game is you're going to see some daily rituals come up. Think of these as kind of like quests in another game. These are simply tasks that you can complete to get extra blood points, and blood points is kind of like your main currency in Dead by Daylight. So you see, you'll get 30,000 blood points if you do this task. You'll get 25,000 blood points if you repair the equivalent of 3 generators. It doesn't all have to be in one game. These tasks can be completed over several games, and once you do this task, whatever it is, you will get the reward. So it'll show you your progress here, how many you've done, and a progression bar as well. And you also have the ability to delete any. So if you don't like what these, maybe you've already done one, maybe you've already done this particular ritual yesterday, and you want something new, you can go ahead and delete it. And I believe once you delete it, it will give you a new quest, but it'll only give you one new quest per day. So we delete that, we see a new quest comes in here, and now we have a quest to get 45,000 blood points by simply chasing the survivors for a total of 3 minutes with a Wraith. So a great way to earn extra blood points, and blood points is really what you want as a new player. It's what you're going to want so you can level your characters up. Alright, so when you start the game, guys, I highly recommend that if you have an older computer, or if you're having any kind of, you know, what looks like computer lag, it looks like your computer's kind of struggling to keep up with the game, it's not exactly smooth, you might want to go into your options down here and change your quality setting to a lower setting. So it might start off in ultra, you might want to try high and take it one step at a time and continue to go down until you get a nice smooth game. You're going to want to get a nice smooth game in Dead by Daylight for optimal performance and your chances of surviving without having, you know, a lot of frustration and that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and look at some of these other things you might want to change, you know, like your volume, your menu music. I have my menu music turned all the way down to 30%, my volume at 70%, but you can adjust all these settings, you know, based on your specific computer and needs and desires. The mouse sensitivity for your survivor and killer controls are here. If you're using a controller, which you do have the option to do, you can also change your controller sensitivity for, you know, your thumbsticks and stuff like that. So these adjustments are right here in your setting options. You can also hide your tutorials. You probably want to take that off. You probably want the tutorials on as a new player. Now, another thing you can do as a new player in Dead by Daylight, before you even jump into a game, you don't have to worry about going into a public game, because every game is it's all online. There's no AI. You're playing with other players, so, you know, your mistakes and stuff like that might cost another player as a survivor their life in the game. So that can be really daunting and make you really nervous as a new player to Dead by Daylight. So one thing you can do right off the bat is you can go to Help with Tutorials, and you can read and play. You know, you can read the game manual, you can read about the survivors and the killers as well, and you can take 2 tutorials, the basics of how to play a survivor and the basics of how to play a killer. And I'll quickly show you the survivor tutorial. This isn't going to give you all the ins and outs of the game. Again, this is just going to be really basic movement and stuff like that. But if you're a new player to, like, you know, using a mouse and keyboard and using WASD to move around and move your character around, and using the mouse to look around, you know, playing the tutorial here is going to be a great way to kind of get familiar with the controls. We are waiting for the tutorial to load up here. Come on. Alright, so it loaded us in here, guys, and it's going to tell you that Dead by Daylight is an asymmetric game that is played in trials between up to 4 survivors and 1 murderous killer, who's also played by another online player. Your main objective is to escape the trial and live another day. So go ahead and read that, and as you can see, it gives you your task up in the top right: repair the generator. You can look around using the mouse, and this is where, if you're moving too fast, like, you know, if your mouse is like moving way too fast, we're just barely moving it and it's moving way too fast, or if it's moving too slow, you can adjust your, you know, your survivor sensitivity in the options. So the first thing you want to do is, you know, take a look around, and anytime you log into the game, you want to look around for the killer. Now, thankfully, in this tutorial, there is no killer, so you don't have to worry about that. But you want to go ahead and do what it says: repair the generator. This generator is almost repaired already, so we're going to go ahead and sneak up here, and you want to get close to the generator. So when you get close to it, you're going to see an option to hit M1. Well, M1 is going to be your left mouse button. So you're going to go ahead and move up to it, hold M1 down, and you will start repairing the generator. Again, while you're repairing, you can move the mouse around to look around your, you know, your game. Once you repair that generator, it'll tell you here: escaping the trial. Notice the objective information at the bottom left of the screen. It says find the exit. When the final generator is completed, the switch is powered and the exit gate can be opened. In most matches, there will be a total of 5 generators to complete. So, now that we've got the generator repaired, we find the exit gate, and it's important to remember what the exit gate looks like. It looks like that big gray door right there, and on every map in the game, there's going to be 2 of these exit gates. However, in this tutorial, there's only 1, just to kind of show you how it works. So you're going to come up here, and you're going to hold M1 again, which is your left mouse button, remember? And you're going to hold it down. And this is where it can be really scary at the end of a game when killers are trying to guard these exit gates and trying to kill survivors at the very end of the game. And, you know, you're trying to get this gate open and you have to wait. I think it's like, you know, 20 or 30 seconds for the gate to open. How you doing, Sick Rabbit? Teach me, Senpai. So again, we're just doing this tutorial, guys, and I highly recommend that as a new player, you complete these tutorials, because they're going to take you through all this different stuff about how to complete these skill checks, etc. So now it's going to show you how to do skill checks. This is a great way to start if you're brand new to Dead by Daylight, is doing the tutorial first, because I will tell you as a player, getting in a live game and blowing up generators and failing skill checks is going to get people killed. This is the biggest way you're going to get people killed, is blowing up generators and failing skill checks. So highly recommend that as a new player, you do this tutorial. So now we're going to go ahead and start repairing the generator, and we're going to get a skill check. Now listen for a ding here when the skill check comes. You're going to hear a ding right there. And once you hear that ding, you know that you're going to have to hit the space bar in a minute, or whatever your button is on a controller, to stop that needle on the skill check. There we go again. So once you hear that ding, you need to be ready to hit the space bar, and you just want to watch the needle and make sure you hit the space bar when the needle is in the target area, right there. So the white area is a great skill check, and anywhere in just the normal area is going to pass. But if you don't fail that skill check, it's going to blow the generator up, and it's going to alert the location of where you're at to the killer. Your survival in the trial may be hindered by a murderous killer whose only goal is to sacrifice as many survivors as possible. Use every resource available to avoid being in the presence of the killer. Listen out for the terror radius or the heartbeat. It may help you recognize when the killer isn't nearby. So again, this is kind of what the trapper looks like. This is one of the many killers in the game of Dead by Daylight. Thankfully, in the tutorial, we are protected by a wall. This isn't going to happen in a real game, but what this is doing here in this tutorial is it's showing you, hey, this killer is going to be coming after you, swinging at you, and he's going to kick your ass and kill you with his weapon, you know, if he hits you with it. So what you want to do is you want to get away from the killer, and you want to hide. Now, sometimes the killer is going to be walking all around looking for you and stuff like that, but you want to try to keep, you know, something between you and the killer. Now, the game does offer surround, you know, surround sound, like you're going to be able to hear. It's directional sounds is what I'm looking for. So you're going to hear directional heartbeat. So you're going to be able to tell if you have surround sound speakers or a surround sound headset, what direction the threat is coming from. But notice as we get out of the terror radius of the killer, we no longer hear his heartbeat, and we've completed that part of the tutorial. Stealth is usually the best way to keep from alerting the killer into your presence. Crouch down and move quietly to stay hidden from the killer. So again, this is, we want to enter the killer's shack, but we don't want to get detected, so we're going to try to remain cautious here. I haven't done this part of the tutorial, guys, to be honest with you, but scratch marks and wildlife running through the environment will create, yes, glowing scratch marks, and that the killer can see. You won't be able to see them, but the killer will be able to see glowing scratch marks anytime you run. And, you know, sometimes killers can watch out for birds. So, for example, if you sneak by this bird, he's going to stay right where he's at. See how he remains calm while you're sneaking by him? Sometimes they will fly off anyway. But one surefire way to make sure that bird flies off is to, you know, vault over jumps and to run, as you can see right here. So again, we want to go ahead and enter the killer shack carefully. Say there's a generator in here that we're looking to repair, whatever. And now it's saying the basement, the stairs to the basement, it may be possible to find tools for crucial survivor down here. So there is always a chest down in the basement, and every map has a basement like this on it. So there's also 4 hooks down here. Sometimes you'll see yourself or other survivors hooked on one of these hooks down here, and you may have to come down here to either save a survivor or to look for the chest. So we're going to go ahead and hide from the killer here, because the killer is coming. And we are trying to hide. I don't know if this is going to work here. I don't know if it wants us to get in a closet or if this is okay. Like I said, I haven't done this tutorial yet, but it may be looking for us to hide in the closet. Yep. So the game wanted us to hide in the closet. I wouldn't recommend hiding in the closet every time, because this is what's typically going to happen. A lot of times the killer will find you, and then you're going to be put on a hook, and you're going to be killed, just like this. So if you're hooked by the killer, your options are limited. You can risk escaping the hook, however. Every failed attempt will reduce your health and speed up the survival process. So what you want to do, guys, when you're hooked, and you will get hooked, you're going to get downed by a killer, you're going to get hooked. It's going to happen many, many times in a game. So you'll see down here, it's going to tell you hit M1 to escape, your left mouse button. Realize, guys, you're going to want to look around before you just hit M1. You're going to want to look around and see if there's any other survivors that can come save you. So here we have another survivor in the game that can come save us. We want to let them save us, because if we try to jump off and hit M1, there's only like a 4% chance by default of jumping off the hook ourselves. And if you let somebody save you, the chances are a lot higher of your surviving. So, you know, if you're the last person hooked or whatever, or there's, you know, other survivors aren't going to come to save you and you're pretty sure of that, that's when you can try to jump off yourself and take that 4% chance. And then it's going to go through the rest of the stuff for you guys. It's going to give you things to do in the tutorial, and you can complete these as, you know, as you want. I definitely recommend completing that tutorial, though, because it will show you the basics of how to play in an environment where you're not going to feel like you're messing up somebody else's online game. But at some point, you're going to want to jump into Dead by Daylight. You're going to want to go ahead and jump into a real game. So that's when you're going to go ahead and play as a survivor here. Remember, this survivor is, this video here is aimed at new players to Dead by Daylight who want tips and advice and questions answered and all that on how to survive or increase your chances of surviving as a survivor. How you doing, Jarno Plays? This is Zaxtorian 99. You have to go into a locker. Yeah, the tutorial. That's what I wanted you to do. All right. Lockers can be really good, people, but the bad thing about getting in a locker is if the killer finds you, and killers have the ability to hear really well, especially if they have a good headset, they can hear you breathing. And they also have perks sometimes like whispers that can help them, you know, locate where you're at, or at least the area. And killers with even a little bit of experience are pretty good at, you know, checking lockers where they, you know, and sometimes they can see you get into a locker as well. You know, another thing too is make sure you're not running really fast when you get into a locker, or you'll make a big slam. You'll slam the doors, and the killer will see a big explosion on their screen and hear an explosion kind of sound effect, and they'll know right where you're at. So if you do get into a locker, you want to do it really slowly and carefully. But guys, when you first buy the game, if you haven't bought any, you know, any DLC or whatever, you're probably just going to have, you know, 7 or 8 survivors. This is all survivors that came with the game initially. Dwight, Meg, Claudette, and Jake. These were the original 4 survivors on the very top here. Over the past 2.5 years, at the time that I'm making this video, they have added a lot of DLC or downloadable content. Most of it is purchasable, and all these ones that are locked, all these survivors here that are locked, it'll tell you exactly, if you hover your cursor over it, it'll tell you it's available in the Steam store, you know, or in your PlayStation store, or whatever, you know, whatever device you're playing Dead by Daylight on. You would go to that store and you could purchase the DLC. And it'll also, it'll tell you at the very bottom what DLC this character's for. So for example, if I really wanted to buy Kate Denson here as a survivor, it would tell me at the very bottom it's available on Steam, and I would need to buy the Curtain Call. At the very bottom you'll see the name of the DLC that I need to buy to get Kate, or if I wanted to get Ace, I would need to go and buy the Of Flesh and Mud DLC to get him. Okay? It also tells you their perks and, you know, a really brief description of these characters. Okay? So I can't click on it, I can't do anything until I buy it. Okay? Now, again, these are the original 4 survivors to Dead by Daylight. These are survivors that have been added free to Dead by Daylight since the game launched, and these are available for you as well. So right now you can see I have 7 options. So who do I play? Who do I play to start with? My advice, and I think the general consensus of advice from experienced Dead by Daylight players, as a new player, self-care is going to be the one perk that's going to help you the most as a new player. It gives you the ability to heal yourself in a game without needing a healing kit, without needing the help of other survivors. So with that, I would recommend starting off with Claudette, because she has, as you can see, it says her personal perks, empathy, botany knowledge, and self-care allow her to spot injured survivors and heal her team and herself more effectively. We're looking for the self-care on Claudette. That's why we're going to play her first, especially if you've never played Dead by Daylight. And I would level her up to level 40 before you even play any other character. So you'll be playing Claudette a while, and that is my recommendation. Another good advantage to Claudette is because, and this isn't racist or anything like that, guys, it's just simply like, you know, different kinds of animals in wildlife, you know, they have a fur color or a hair color that kind of blends into their natural habitat or environment. Much like wildlife across the world, you know, a snow leopard, for example, looks like the snowy Rocky Mountains that they live in, and so they can kind of blend into the snow and the environment to stalk their prey. Or much like a praying mantis, looks like trees. You know, he's green in color and kind of looks like a little bit like a limb on a tree or a leaf or whatever. They can blend in really well and camouflage themselves really well in their natural environment. Claudette in Dead by Daylight is better at camouflaging herself in the environment of Dead by Daylight, and it is due to her dark hair, which, you know, can blend into shadows, and her dark skin. She also has dark colored clothes that can help her as well. But that is another big reason why starting off with Claudette and you're sneaking around scared to death as a new player, playing Claudette is going to help you over somebody that is more visible like Meg or Dwight, for example. So we're going to go ahead and select her. When you start off, you have no blood points here. This is your blood points. This shows your player level. This basically, as a killer or a survivor, this is going to go up as you play the game. It's your overall progression of your account. Whether you play survivor, killer, whatever, this is going to go up every time you play a game. Regardless of how well you do, it's going to continue to go up. This is your rank, and as you succeed in games and do enough in every game to not only help yourself and escape, but also to help teammates out, you might rank up and you might get this, see the 3 little dots where it says progress? Those are called pips. And if you get a pip in a game because you did really well, you're going to earn one of those little pips. It is possible to double pip in a game, in which case you would score 2 of those pips and you're going to progress towards a lower rank. So rank 20 is like the lowest rank you can be, and the highest rank is rank 1. So as you do better and better, this rank will go lower in number. And you'll see more about that as you play the games, and you'll kind of learn by playing what you need to do to, you know, advance and increase your rank, or in this case, you know, decrease your rank, which is a higher rank. All right. So RX cells here are what you need to buy some of the customization options and you know, different items, or if you're wanting to buy a new survivor or new killer that is offered to, you know, buy with in-game currency rather than real money, you can use RX cells to buy some of this customization options. No, you can't buy survivors and killers and org cells. You can buy some killers and survivors instead of real money. You can use iridescent shards right here, and iridescent shards are acquired by simply playing the game, either killer or survivor, and you earn these. I believe they're given to you like 1 minute or 1 shard for every minute spent inside of a game. Like right now I'm not earning any shards because I'm not inside of a game. You actually have to be playing a game, and I believe you get 1 shard per minute. Okay, and if you want to find all that kind of stuff, guys, you simply come here, you go to the store, and the store is going to show you, you know, this is where you buy org cells, so you can buy some of the customization options, so you can spend more money in the game to buy these different bundles. Obviously, the more money you spend, the better deal you get. And then you can go to your characters, and whether you want to play a killer or a survivor. Notice that, you know, it shows you that you don't yet have Ace yet, so you might not want to be buying customization stuff for Ace when you don't even own that character. But it will kind of highlight the characters that you do own. So if I really liked Nia, for example, and I wanted to buy her a cool outfit, I could come here, and let's say I wanted this pink hair and this cool, you know, urban outfit here. I could buy this, and I could basically spend 1,080 org cells, which I'd have to purchase with real money. That's the only way you can get these, is by spending real money in that org cell pack, like right here. Or I could also save up 21,600 of these shards. So that's basically 21,600 minutes spent in games to be able to purchase this one outfit. So it can take a long time to grind up that many iridescent shards to, you know, purchase the customization options. And 1,080 is basically the equivalent of $10 US. So if we go here, we see 1,100 for $10 would buy us that outfit, just barely. Okay, but anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead. You can look at the store, you know, there. It's pretty easy to figure out kind of what you need to buy these different items when you just go to the store and look around. But first thing you want to do, guys, before you go into a game or anything, first thing you want to do is you want to come to your loadout here, and it's going to tell you that Claudette Morel starts with our 3 personal perks. You can hover your cursor over each one and see what they do. So Botany Knowledge is going to tell you it transforms plants around the campfire. So basically it's going to increase her healing efficiency of items by 11%, and healing speed as well. So if she's using a healing kit, and you know, it's going to increase her efficiency of that healing kit, so she doesn't use as much of it as quickly, and it also increases her healing speed by 11%. Keep in mind, this is at level 1. As you advance these perks up to level 3, the perks get a little bit better each time. So in this case, the healing speed and efficiency is going to increase if you get Botany Knowledge 2 and Botany Knowledge 3 respectively. Empathy unlocks the potential in one's aura reading ability, so you're going to be able to see injured survivors that are your allies in a game. You're going to be able to see their auras even behind walls, and you know halfway across the map or whatever. You're going to be able to see their auras and be able to help them out, because you do have the ability to go to other survivors and help them heal. You can help heal other survivors much quicker. And as you get up to level 3 on empathy, it'll show you auras anywhere on the map at level 3 rather than just 32 meters. Okay. And self-care, this is a big one we want. This is why we're taking Claudette. And it unlocks the ability to heal yourself without needing a healing item at half normal speed. But sometimes, a lot of times, you're not going to have a healing kit, and you're going to need to heal because you're going to be injured, and you know, you're going to want to have this perk. Just germs. Hey Zax, I'm here for all the tips and tricks. Welcome to the stream. Mike, how you doing, guys? Yeah, if you have any questions, guys, if you guys are a new player to Dead by Daylight, you have any questions at all, be sure you ask. So the reason you want to come here, guys, is not only to see the perks that you start off with here as a brand new player. Notice I'm level 1. I haven't even played a game yet, but I already have the option to equip one of my 3 perks, and this is a no-brainer. I mean, we're taking Claudette, guys, to get self-care. We want self-care. That is her best perk. It's going to help us. It's going to help save our butt, basically. So we're going to go ahead and equip this by simply coming down here and clicking it. If I wanted Botany Knowledge, for example, I would simply highlight this area and then click Botany Knowledge. Or Empathy, whatever I want, I can equip it. we also see here that I get use a second perk once I achieve level 5. Once I achieve level 10, I can use 3 perks. And once I get to level 15, I can use 4 perks. But Zax, you only have 3 perks. Why would you need 4 when you'd only have 3? Well, because as you earn blood points, guys, you are going to... Let's go ahead and get self-care equipped here. As you get blood points, guys, you're going to be able to come here to your blood web, and this is kind of how you advance your character. So it'll tell you kind of how the blood web works here. You're going to click to continue, and this is always going to be really RNG based on what the blood webs look like, but every blood web is going to have at least 1 perk. And to find the perks on a blood web, that's the what perks, the things you want to get the first before you open or unlock any other items on your blood web. You always want to look for the diamond shapes on your blood web and get those first. It'll tell you the cost here. As you can see, you start here in the middle, and you're gonna to get this perk, for example, I would have to take this healing kit first with 3,000 blood points, and then I'll get the option to come down here and get Will Make It, which is a great perk, by the way. And that's what you would want to do first. You want to get in the habit of always finding your perk first on your blood web and getting a perk. Now, as you get to a higher level, once you get up past like level 10, I think probably past level 15, your blood webs may have 2 perks on them. You'll never see more than 2 perks at this time on a blood web, but sometimes you'll see 2 of these diamond shaped perks, and then you'll kind of make a choice. Which one do I want, and what's the quickest path to get there to take it? But always, 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 really good advice here, guys, when you're leveling up and you're spending your blood points that you earn in games, always, always, always look for your perks first and get your perks first. And again, it's really easy to tell your perks, not by colors, but by the shape. Perks are always diamonded shape. Okay? So we don't have any blood points yet. That's why the number there, 3,000, is in red. It shows us exactly what we need to get that. And we can see it's the little red triangle. And we come up here. That is for blood points. It tells us that, what the blood points are. And we have 0. That's because we haven't played a game yet. Okay? But this is where you advance your character on the blood web. So let's go ahead and join the lobby. And we're going to go ahead and get in our first game. After 30 minutes of talking about the game, we're finally going to get in our first game. So I'm hoping this live stream, this video, is going to help somebody out without boring you to death. Now, another thing this game's going to do is it's going to kind of match up, your rank with a killer of a similar rank. So you're not going to be facing the best of the best killers, or you shouldn't be when you first start out in the game. And you're also going to be with other survivors that are of a similar rank as well. The only time you'll end up going against, having other survivors in your game that are really high rank is let's say these 3 people were playing Survive with Friends. And let's say, this guy here was rank 1 and he was playing with his 2 rank 20 buddies. Then at the end of the game, you might say this guy was really experienced. He's rank 1 playing with his 2 rank 20 friends. And that's why he's in a lobby with me. But once you get in the lobby, you want to go ahead and ready up. You can look at your ping indicator down here. Make sure that as long as it's less than like 175, 200, you're probably going to be okay. And you just go ahead and ready up. If it's in the red, if this ping indicator is in the red, you'll probably want to back out and leave the lobby and find a game that has a better connection. Now, another thing, guys, when you first start out the game, once you start loading a game, you'll see right here, it said facing the nurse at the very bottom. And it'll kind of give you a help on how to face this particular killer in the game. So when you're new to the game, at the very bottom of the screen, once the game starts loading, it's going to tell you who the killer is going to be in this game. So we already know that our killer is going to be the nurse. Now, this may change over time, but this game has been like this for quite some time. If you're pretty new to the game, it is going to give you helpful tips as the game starts to load and tell you who your killer is going to be, so you can kind of prepare yourself and be like, okay, I think I faced a nurse before, and I kind of remember how to play. At playing different, the way every killer is different, so the way you want to play each killer is going to vary a little bit. But for the most part, guys, when you load into the game, the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and maybe crouch down and hide yourself a little bit, behind a tree, behind you know, a stack of hay or whatever. Be really careful when you're starting out. Now, most killers, you're going to hear a heartbeat if they're near you. So if you hear that heartbeat, it's really close, don't panic. You're going to want to probably run away. But sometimes you can just stay hidden, even if they're really close, and they may not see you. That's another reason we've taken Claudette here, because as you can see, she's a little bit harder to see with her dark hair, you know, in the grass and the darker areas of the map. She's not completely camouflaged. She's just more camouflaged than some of the other survivors available in the game. So we hear a weird sound like a "Arr!" That's kind of the nurse. What she's doing is she's blinking or teleporting around the map, and she is looking for survivors. So my advice when you're first starting out in the game, guys, is you may see other survivors running around like mad chickens, or you know, you may have seen live streams of like me or other people live streaming the game, and you'll see everybody running around like crazed maniacs. When you do that, all these survivors running around like crazed maniacs are leaving behind really glow-in-the-dark kind of streaks all over the map, and the killer can see these glowing streaks. Now, they fade in a few seconds, but these streaks can help the killers locate you, so you want to be really careful about running. Right now, I hear that heartbeat. I'm getting scared. Oh my god, what is going on? I see down at the bottom left, I see the status of the survivors, and I see that one of my teammates is down. I can look around the map, and most of the time you're going to see their aura now once they're down. So I know where the survivor has gotten downed at. Oh my gosh. And he just got hooked. He is dying, guys. And that status indicator right there means that he basically just quit the game. So if you see that little resistor icon or whatever it is, that means that survivor has either got disconnected in the game, their internet dropped out, or in this case, this particular player got frustrated and just quit. So he just quit the game because he was mad that he got hooked. And this is something that I highly encourage you guys not to do. Okay, notice how this nurse is now chasing this other survivor, and notice how we're staying hidden, guys. She is chasing this other survivor. We're just being all stealthy. And if you guys are noticing something, I am playing a lot differently right now than I typically play Dead by Daylight. And as you get more experience in the game, guys, you're going to be a lot more gutsy and brave to be running around, you know, doing all kinds of stuff. Now, the generator that was there that was repaired in the background, that is their objective. And we start off with 5 generators to repair. Now we only have 5 because that guy had repaired. Somebody repaired a generator and they're doing a good job. We can see the lights on the generator are lit up in the background. You can kind of see the lights up in the sky. That's a generator that's repaired, as opposed to a generator that's not repaired, such as over there. We see lights above over there. This is how you find generators, guys, is look for the lights. See how I see lights and those lights are off? That means that generator still need to repair. There's also a generator over there I can see by the lights. So we're going to come over here, guys. We're going to go ahead and try to repair this generator. I can hear it going. We come up to it, and again, just like the tutorial, we're going to hold down our left mouse button, and we're going to try to repair. We hear the heartbeat getting closer. This nurse is probably going to come at us in a second. We see this guy's aura over there. He's hanging. He's hanging from a hook. I can see that at the bottom left. We're going to try to repair this generator before we go try to save this guy off the hook, though. Now, this guy needs our help because he is waiting for somebody to help him out. But I want to get this generator repaired. Somebody else helped him. And I'm kind of in the game trying to survive, guys. And with a nurse, what you want to do is you want to change your direction a lot. That's kind of how you want to face a nurse, because they have the ability to blink, but after they blink, usually a couple of times, they're stunned. Right now she's stunned, and she has to wait a couple of seconds before she can move or blink again. Okay, so she had a good teleport and a good blink there, and she downed me. But notice, guys, I did, you know, repair that generator. That comes with experience. I got that generator repaired. I wanted to get that generator repaired because once you complete 2 generators, you're going to ensure that a hatch is going to spawn. So at least one way to escape for somebody on your team is now guaranteed. Now, the hatch has not spawned yet. The way you know if a hatch is going to spawn somewhere on the map is you need to have 1 more generator repaired than there are survivors left in the game. So right now there's 3 people left in the game, me and 2 other people. So we would need to have repaired 4 generators for a hatch to even spawn. Okay? But at least by repairing that 2nd generator that I did, you know, if everybody starts dying and only 1 person's left, at least we know that a hatch will spawn and somebody will have you know, the ability to escape the game and survive. So this is what I'm talking about right here. It does show, you know, I can hold M1 to try to escape, but I have survivors left in the game, and even though they were on a generator when I got hooked, I still want to be patient and wait for somebody to come save me, because that is my highest probability of, you know, surviving. So the nurse is after me again. I want to get away from her. I want to get away from her heartbeat the best I can. Remember, I'm running right now, guys. I am leaving red streaks that she can see. Now, these streaks, she can see them. I can't. But these streaks are something that do fade away after a few seconds. But you want to try to get away where I don't hear her heartbeat anymore. I want to hide. And now, if I have self-care, this is the reason we took Claudette, guys, so we can get self-care right off the bat. I can just hide as long as I'm not next to a generator or anything like that. I can hit M1, my left mouse button, and start healing. Now, if I see this nurse anywhere near me or I hear her heartbeat, my advice is to stop healing and stay hidden, because nurses especially and other killers can have a nurse perk called Nurse's Calling. And Nurse's Calling will show them the auras of anybody healing. So we don't want her to see that my aura of where I'm healing, because I'm hidden right now. She has no idea where I'm at. I don't want to give my location away by healing while she's close, basically within her heartbeat. So if I hear her heartbeat or I see her really close, I probably want to stop healing and hide. But notice something, guys. While I'm injured, I'm still injured, I am making grunts. I am pretty loud. So if she was around here really close looking for me, she's probably going to hear me moaning and crying and can locate me from my cries. Also, I leave a trail of blood here, as you can see, when I'm injured. And they can see that blood even easier than I can. And that can help them locate me as well. So it is in your best interest to not only heal teammates that are injured, but to get yourself healed. Just make sure you do it carefully. So now I am fully restored on health. I look down to the bottom left, and this team is pretty good. For rank 20s, they are getting generators repaired, and we only have 1 generator left to repair. So again, this other Claudette and me are both leaving glow-in-the-dark red streaks, you know, on our path that we're running. So we want to be careful from time to time. And sometimes as a new player, if you're seeing somebody run around like this, you might want to stop and just wait for them to get away from you. You know, especially if you're wanting to play stealthy, wait for them to get away from you so, you know, you're not leaving a track right to you. Especially if you hear the heartbeat. You might want to hide and make sure that you're not around a survivor that's running around like a madman. Because they may have the skills to dodge this killer. Like she's got the killer on her, see? And the chances are this killer's on her because she was running around like a madman and she saw her streaks. And see how by playing stealthy here, I've avoided the killer coming after me. Now this killer is chasing her, so I feel a little bit more comfortable about running and getting on this last generator. When you start off, guys, keep in mind you're going to die a lot. You're going to fail skill checks. You're going to blow this generator up and alert the killer right where you're at, which is going to help you die more frequently. Failing skill checks will get you and your teammates killed. The most important thing I can recommend is get good at these skill checks, and to do that, the most important thing is listening. Listening carefully for that ding. Once you hear that ding, watch for the needle, and then try to hit your, your button when the needle is over the success zone. Don't worry about trying to hit skill checks like right away, like great skill checks. Trying to hit it in that dark white area. Just try to pass the skill checks when you're new. Don't worry about trying to be perfect on them. You'll get better with experience and with time. So notice here in just a few seconds, we've already got this generator that was just barely started, almost done. But the nurse is here. We hear the heartbeat. We're going to hide. This nurse may come and break the generator, or she may continue to stay in that chase. She's still chasing that other Claudette. That other Claudette is doing a fantastic job of avoiding her and buying me time to get this generator repaired. Alright, so now once we repair the generators, we see that we want to look around and see where the exit gates are, because they only show for a few seconds. And we kind of know where the 2 exit gates are now by looking around. Once that, you may not be the one repairing that 5th generator, but when you hear that sound, that brrr, you want to look around wherever you're at and see where these exit gates are. And you want to try to get to an exit gate and get one open. Now we see that she just downed somebody, and she's picking them up. This is why you always want to use your mouse to look around. As we open the gate, we can look around while we're opening this gate. Kind of make our plans. What are we going to do? I want to get this gate open. She's coming for me. You got to be really careful here, guys, because she can grab you while you're doing a generator or while you're opening the exit gate. She can grab you, and I wouldn't take a hit like that if she grabbed me. Instead, she would just grab me and be able to hook me immediately. So make sure you don't let them grab you. It's going to happen from time to time. At this point, I'm going to use my self-care. I'm going to try to heal myself. I'm going to go try to save my teammate. Now, this is something that you may not feel comfortable doing, and that's perfectly okay as a normal, as a new player. You may just want to go ahead and get out of here and win the game. But here, being the altruistic person I am going to try to help this teammate. I'm going to try to go over here and get a save. She's probably going to be guarding this. She's camping this survivor. Yeah, she's camping. We can see that I'm kind of peeking through the wall here. I'm seeing that she is guarding this guy pretty safely. But if I take a hit, that's fine. I already know that I may risk dying to get this guy. Okay, so now both of these guys are hit. I'm not injured. I want to try to protect these guys. I want to try to protect these guys by getting behind them and taking a hit for them if I need to. Because I can take a hit, and they can't. And that is how Dead by Daylight is played. That is a victory. We escaped. And we did everything we could to try to help our teammate. Okay. And it'll show you how many points you got, how many blood points you got. And it'll show you that I didn't do enough to basically get a pip. This is your rank progress right here. If I had saved that guy, if I had been fast enough, if I had saved this guy off the hook before the other Claudette saved him off the hook, I probably would have ranked up. Because what I needed was more altruistic actions. I only got a bronze right here. I did really good, got a gold on surviving and escaping the killer. I didn't do that many. I got a silver on repairing generators, which is fine. And I also got a silver on staying away and winning chases from the killer. But I definitely could have used more altruism, and that's basically like healing other survivors or, taking them off a hook. And that would have helped me get this pip. But anyway, we still did well, guys. We escaped. Even though we didn't get a pip up here, we can still feel good about this game because we escaped this game. We can come down here to the end. We can see what perks everybody had. And we see this killer did have nurses calling. I was talking about this, and it does tell you if you hover your cursor over any of these perks, you can see what they did, what they are. And as you can see, a couple of us here in the game had self-care. A couple of the survivors didn't even have self-care. They had different perks. And the killer only had the nurse's calling, which will show them auras of anybody, you know, getting healed or healing themselves within a 20-meter range. Now that range does go up on nurse's calling as the killer advances to nurse's calling 2 and 3. All right. So there we are, guys. We only have 3 people watching me. C. Davis, thanks so much for subscribing. Welcome. You're now a new Zaxtorian. All right, guys. That is the basics of how to play it. I'm just going to continue to play on this account, and we're going to, you know, maybe some more people will come in, but maybe this video will be watched by somebody that buys a Dead by Daylight or that are looking for kind of helpful advice, you know, on Dead by Daylight. Also in this game, you can see what every survivor and killer, what their rank was here. You can see how many blood points each survivor earned, whether they escaped or, you know, whether they died. It'll show a skull here if they died. And you can also come up here and rate the match. So if you think you've had a really good game or whatever, you can come up here and rate the match on how good you thought it was. And then also to the right of anybody, you can give any player or the killer a thumbs up, or you can kind of report them to the developers. So for example, if I thought this killer was being a troll or griefing, you know, basically trying to cause other players to have a really unfun game, it'll give you examples of all these different things of like what to report somebody for. Like if somebody was basically calling you a racist name or something like that, hate speech or whatever, you could click on here and you could report what they did. You know, this guy called me a racist, vulgar name, and submit it. But we're not going to report this guy. In fact, we're just going to go ahead and give this guy a thumbs up, and we're going to say, great first game. And you can even put whatever you want. I love this game. It's so much fun. So, I mean, the developers could read this comment and they're like, wow, this person likes this game. They had a great first game. And we can submit that. And the developers will see that. That's pretty cool. So, in here as well, this is only on the PC. You'll kind of have a chat area where you can kind of chat with the other survivors that were in your game and the killer. Once the killer disconnects, though, because everybody does connect to the killer, once the killer disconnects, you don't have the ability to chat anymore. So if I type something, it doesn't appear, and that's because the killer disconnected. So everybody, including all the survivors, are now disconnected, and we can't continue to talk. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and continue to play the game some more. I'll show you how to use these blood points, guys. We got 12,800 from that game. We can come to the blood web now. And now we can come over here and we can buy this Will Make It. Yeehaw! So we got our first perk that we actually purchased from the blood web. Now we can purchase these other items. I don't have quite enough blood points to buy this last item on this blood web. But when I purchase this last item, I will advance to level 2 on Claudette. Notice that I'm already level 2 as far as my player progression. But this player progression overall is way different than your character level, and your character level will be advanced by by doing the blood web. Now, another thing to keep in mind, guys, is let's say I earned a whole bunch of blood points for Claudette. One thing I can do is let's say I get Claudette to level 40 and I get her a whole bunch of perks, right? And she's going to have really good perks on her. I don't have to use the blood points that I earn with Claudette on Claudette. So I could use her once she gets really good perks, and you know I feel really good with playing Claudette. I could use Claudette to earn 100,000 blood points, and then I could use those blood points, and I could select Meg, right? And I could advance Meg with blood points up here that I've earned on Claudette, and I could advance Meg's blood web and advance Meg's level and get her good perks by playing Claudette. So that's the really cool thing about it. You don't have to play the character that you would have advanced. You can level up anybody. You know, I could get 10 million blood points with Claudette and level up all my survivors just by playing Claudette if I wanted to. Or I could use my blood points to level up a killer, or vice versa. Okay? So blood points are, you know, interchangeable. You can use the blood points that you earn on killer or survivor on anybody in the game, on any survivor or killer that you want. But we're going to go ahead and continue to take Claudette, guys. We're going to join our second game and see if we can survive a second game. Don't have a lot of people watching me play this stream. Kind of surprised that more people aren't watching, more of my usual viewers aren't watching. But I'm kind of surprised I don't have more new people finding this stream yet. But we're going to go ahead and jump in here. We see that this is kind of showing you the survivors have readied up or not. As you can see, one survivor hasn't readied up. That would be me. This player just changed their character, so they were somebody else. They changed to Meg Thomas. It tells their name right there. This is their Steam name. On the PlayStation or Xbox, this name here will be their PlayStation name, account name, or Xbox account name. And then below that, it shows the character name in the game. Also, while you're here, you can kind of hit this or click F1 and get information, kind of the, you know, the description of the character and how they found themselves in this Dead by Daylight world. We can click these arrows and we can kind of go through all the different characters. If you don't ready up, once 4 players are in the game, if you don't ready up within a minute, the game will automatically advance you as well. So be sure you're careful of that. Sometimes you'll be spending blood points or, you know, trying to figure out your loadout of your perks or whatever. And if you're not quick enough, you will find the game starting when you're not ready. That's happened to me many times. Now, again, guys, as the game starts to load, we see that we're going to be facing the clown. And it'll kind of give you some information about the clown, so it can kind of help you prepare for the clown. So we're going to have a completely different killer than the teleporting nurse in this next game. The clown can't teleport. The nurse has the ability to teleport through like walls and, you know, buildings and trees and rocks and all kinds of stuff. The clown can't teleport like the nurse, but the clown is a big, fat, ugly clown that walks really, really fast. Keep in mind, pretty much every killer walks faster than you can run. So every killer can walk faster than you can run, and as you play the game, you'll see that over and over and over again, and it'll seem unfair, but keep in mind that there are 4 survivors and only 1 killer in every game, or in most games rather, unless the survivor gets disconnected or something. But survivors have the ability to, you know, throw pallets down to put something between them and the killer, and stun the killer if it's timed correctly. Survivors have the ability to sneak around and crouch around and hide, where killers that don't have that option to sneak around and hide for the most part. There are a couple of killers that do have the ability to kind of stealth around, such as the pig from the Saw movies. She can crouch and kind of sneak around and lower her heartbeat. But for the most part, most killers don't have the ability to crouch. But every killer is different, guys, and it's just, you know, experience on playing against all the different killers to kind of learn the best tactics to avoid the killers. But some of the tactics that I'm giving you, such as the last game against the nurse, the way I started off really sneaky and stealthy, is definitely a great way to start in Dead by Daylight, and how to not get seen first thing in a game. So if you're playing Dead by Daylight and it seems like first thing, you're always getting, you know, hooked first before anybody else, you might want to start off more like this. I hear the heartbeat, and again, by staying stealthy, see, instead of running over to that generator first thing, I can see the lights for it, but by not just running for the first generator I see, now he's being chased and I'm still alive. So, you know, maybe start stealthier if you find yourself, you know, the first person on the hook or the first person dead in every game. Take a minute, figure out who the killer is in a game, and kind of figure out what's going on before you start repairing a generator. Now, this thing that I just cleansed right here, guys, is a totem. You'll see that I broke it. It kind of looks like a little bone statue, and there's 5 of those on every map. And my advice is to always, always, always clean those. My motto is cleanse before gens. And so if you see one of those totems, and you'll kind of learn as you play the game where they spawn on the map, like typical spawn locations. We see this guy got down. He was the guy that was over here repairing this generator. And he's going to get hooked right now. And you can kind of see his health progression. Let's hope this guy doesn't disconnect like the guy last game. Now I may hear the heartbeat coming back. He may be coming back over here to check this generator. So I want to be listening for that heartbeat. Okay, so I see somebody already saved this guy from a hook. And he is injured right now instead of hooked, so that's a good thing. We're going to go ahead and stay here on this generator. And while I'm on this generator, I'm going to look around. I'm going to, you know, it's a good idea to always look around while you're repairing. If you can, kind of look for, you know, if the clown is to come, if the killer is to come, I might want to look for, like, my best route of escaping. Try to figure out which way I'm going to run. You know, maybe I'll go through that window. I'll jump through that window. Maybe I'll run over there and hide, whatever. Figure out your route if the killer's to come. And Meg just blew the generator up. And you're going to do that a lot as a new player, guys. Don't let it discourage you. Until you get many hours in the game and, you know, I see another totem. And I want to take this thing out. And the reason I say to take these out, guys, is because there's no skill checks on a totem, first of all. So I don't have to worry about skill checks. Another thing, they're quick, easy points. I believe you can cleanse a totem in 12 seconds. And it's an easy 600 points. You'll see 600 points on the left side of the screen. Cleansing, plus 600. So very easy points. But cleansing these totems, if you cleanse all those dull totems, the ones that... There are hex totems that are lit up. But, I'm hoping somebody else saves this guy, because I'm really far away, as you can see. But if you see one of those totems lit up on fire, that means that the killer already has an active perk that he's using. One of his 4 perks is called a hex totem, and it's a really powerful perk, and it's tied to that totem. We're going to go over here. This guy got downed. Oh, that guy just gave up. That sucks. We want to listen for the heartbeat to go away before we try to save this guy. Don't try to jump off, Mick. Don't try to jump off. Sorry. Stop. Let me save you. Okay, we're going to try to... This usually probably isn't the greatest idea to heal somebody right into the hook, but you'll see this happen a lot in games. I mean, it is quicker to heal somebody under the hook, but you probably don't want to do it if you hear the heartbeat coming. If you hear the heartbeat, you know the killer is close, you probably don't want to heal him under the hook. If you don't hear the heartbeat, you think the killer is a little bit of ways, you can go ahead and heal him under the hook and save a few seconds. Save some time. But yeah, those totems like I'm talking about, if it's a lit up totem, it's definitely a more powerful perk the killer's using. You probably want to take that out. Ooh, I got hit by the clown's mist. And that bottle of mist that he throws is a item that he can throw that's specific to that killer, but it'll blind you, make you see blurrier, and it'll also slow your speed down. So I'm gonna hide right here and answer my phone real quick, guys. Be right back. Who was it? Oh, it was Mariah. Alright, guys, let's go ahead and go over here and try to save this girl again. Oh, she died. Alright, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, staying hidden. Even though I hear the heartbeat, don't freak out and start running. Because if I freak out and start running when he doesn't even see me, I can leave those glowing streaks and give away my location. This is what a generator looks like after the killer kicks it and damages the generator. So you want to try to start repairing the generator when a killer kicks it and get it, you know, get it from... Because when a killer kicks it, it'll start regressing and it'll slowly get worse and worse, more and more damaged until it's all the way back to the start. So you want to try to hop back on it and start repairing it again. so that at least it's not regressing. I mean, you can just tap it, you know, for half a second and stop the generator from regressing and sparking, basically. So the killer is chasing that Meg around right now. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We want to get at least that second generator done. We don't have 2 generators done yet, so nobody will have an option for a hatch if we don't get at least the second generator done. We know that the only other survivor in the game, the Meg, is the only other survivor left, and she's being chased, or she was being chased by the killer. So we want to use this opportunity to go ahead. We can see her being chased right behind the generator in the corn right there. The killer's throwing his smoke bombs at her, basically. And we're going to use this opportunity while she's being chased to try to get this generator done. Now again, we're not going to have a hatch spawn right now, guys. It's our way to escape. The hatch isn't going to spawn until there's one more generator done than there are people alive in the game. So she's still alive, even though she's hooked, she's still alive. So we would have to have 3 generators done for a hatch to even spawn. One more generator done than there are people alive in the game. So I don't hear the heartbeat, so I feel safe to go save her. Oh, I do hear the heartbeat. We're gonna hide here. We gotta be careful here. We're gonna save her now that he's out of heartbeat range. And now we know he's gonna come back, or we're pretty sure he will, so we wanna run away. And hide. Remember that when you run, you leave those glowing streaks. Always try to put something like a tree or a rock or whatever between you and the killer so he can't see you. Notice him checking closets. He's looking for one of us. He is definitely trying to find us. Now at some point, rather than just looking around, he's also he can see, the killer can always see the auras of all these generators. They know where these generators are. They can kind of see them glowing, even through buildings and everything. So they know where these generators are, and they will try to protect them. But I just blew that generator up because I failed the skill check, and that's going to show him the location of where I blew it up. I want to move away right now, because he knew right where that generator blew up. And he might come over there to check it out. Blowing a generator on purpose is also a strategy that you can do. Like if you think the killer's chasing your friend or whatever, you can purposely blow a generator up like that. Or you can vault the window really fast, which gives the same kind of effect. We see Meg over there. She doesn't have self-care, kind of like I do. This new player probably should have taken Claudette so she could heal herself. But we're going to go over here and try to heal her, guys. I'm leaving streaks right now. Be careful about that. Come here, Meg. Let's try to heal her up. Now notice I can heal her a lot faster than I can heal myself. You always heal other players quicker than you can heal yourself. So we're trying to help our teammate out here. This is what you want to do. You want to try to help your team. And this is kind of the way you say you're welcome, or like if you're hurt and you need somebody to heal you, you can do this to another player in the game. And it's called teabagging if you do that to a killer, and killers might take that as like an insult. But anytime you see another survivor, it's kind of a way of saying thank you, how you doing, let's do this. You know, it's kind of a motivational thing. Or it's a way to say please heal me, or if somebody heals you, you can kind of do this to kind of say thank you. So at this point, this killer is probably going to be searching all the generator auras. He's going to be looking for us to do more generators since that's our objective. And he's going to try to prevent us from doing these generators. You know, he knows that that's the most likely spot he's going to find us, is trying to get these generators done. There's one of his mini hooks on the map. Okay, he is right there. He might have seen Meg, I'm not sure. Now realize in this situation, you are taking a higher risk by trying to repair a generator than if you were just to stay hidden. We heard Meg scream, so we don't know where she's at, but she is getting attacked again. We're going to use this opportunity while she's being chased to again try to repair another generator. If nothing else, maybe we won't get all the generators repaired, but at least we're getting more points by completing this generator. Red Mouse, how you doing? Dead by Daylight, I'm a horde in this game. I can't pallet loop to save mine or anybody else's life. Yeah, pallet looping is something that definitely takes time. It takes getting really good at the controls. Okay, we see that she went down here. We know that she's not going to be dead on hook yet. We're going to get closer here. We want to try to save her again if we can, because for one thing, it's a lot of points to save her. Okay, we need her to hang in there. Don't give up, Meg. She's having to spam her mouse button now. Okay. Again, resist the temptation to run here, guys. Be stealthy. You're not leaving glowing streaks. Try to keep something between you and the killer. He might be campy here. He might try to prevent me from saving her. Don't run in there while the heartbeat's around. And some killers will stay right by him and not even move away like this one is. Oh. Come here. Try to heal you, Meg. Don't look this way, don't look this way. I want to get her healed so she has a better chance of surviving here. I want to do everything I can to try to help my teammate, because that's called being altruistic. Doing everything you can to help your teammates. Some people don't play like that. Some people, you know, play more selfishly and just try to save themselves. Again, a totem or a generator. I'm going to do the totem, but right now I'm going to hide. Because I hear the heartbeat. And Meg's doing the totem. Okay, Meg, as soon as you get that totem done, let's get this generator done, girl. Yeah, it's the clown. Hey, Sarah, how you doing, hon? What's going on, girl? So, trying to do a live stream to help newer players out with Dead by Daylight. I don't know if anybody's ever going to watch it, but that's kind of the idea here. I think I have enough experience in the game to try to help new players like this Meg here. Who definitely blew the generator. And remember, guys, because she blew that generator up, because she failed the skill check, the killer is going to know right where we're at. So he's going to come right over here, so you need to be ready to hide. I think he saw me. No, he didn't see me. No, he's going to find me, though. Maybe not. This is what you call hiding. Trying to keep the killer, trying to keep an item between you and the killer. This is really risky, but we're going to try to get back over here and start. Because he had kicked the generator. We want to keep it from regressing all the way. Otherwise, we lose all that progress we did. Again, it's going to be risky because he knows we were trying to repair that generator. He's probably going to come back and check it again. Because it's pretty common for survivors to work their way back to a generator that they kick. So he knows somebody's around really close. He's not seeing any red streaks. He's going to be looking around. And he sees me now. That was close. And avoiding these escapes, guys, and escaping these killers in this situation is going to be something you're going to get better at with time. I'm probably going to get hit here. That was a little bit laggy. It looked like he went through the pallet. Once you get a little bit of distance, you might want to be stealthy and try to hide like this. That way he loses the streaks and he doesn't see you. Just like that. Don't be scared to death when you see how close he went to me. Now, experienced killers probably would have seen me, and he'll probably still find me. But sometimes if you just remain still, guys, they will walk right by you several times and not even see you. I have completely lost this killer, and using strategies like that, especially when you're new, can help you survive. Hey, Zachary. My son's friend is over here. Oh boy, that was close. But that is kind of, you know, that's good gameplay there, guys, to kind of show you guys, you know, not to get so nervous. Just because a killer is really close, don't give up your stealthy location, especially if you're hidden. And it's another reason, guys, why we took Claudette. Claudette's going to have a higher chance of not getting spotted than somebody like Meg. Now we see Meg has been spotted again. The killer's on her. She's a lot newer player than I am with a lot less experience, I'm sure. So her chances of surviving are not as good as mine. She doesn't have as much experience. Now if he comes through this pallet area here, I can... Up. Okay, we're gonna run. She's gonna be dead on hook, guys. Again, we're gonna try to use stealth here to keep us alive. We're the only person left. A hatch will spawn now, but she's got to be completely dead and up in the sky before the hatch will spawn. Now I see in the bottom left-hand side that it says a hatch. It says repair 3 generators or find the hatch. Now, when you're the last person alive and it does show that hatch icon down there, you will hear a noise. You'll hear like a gushing wind sound, meaning the hatch is open and you can escape through it. So, for example, if we had repaired one more generator, guys, before Meg died, a hatch would have spawned, but it wouldn't open yet. It wouldn't open until one of us died, or it wouldn't open until you have a key. You can't. A survivor can't take a key that you can get on the blood web, or you can find in a chest that can open a closed hatch, so more than one person can escape through it. So now we know a hatch is here. We're the last person here. We know we can escape through the hatch. And again, it's because it says the 3 generators, or it shows the hatch icon. It says or, and then that hatch icon right there by my healing kit in the bottom left. So we know that a hatch is somewhere on the map. And finding it, again, a lot of it's just experience and knowing where to look, knowing the the typical spawn locations of these hatches. And now we're just kind of listening for the sound, because we're going to hear it when we get close. This toolkit is better than the healing kit I had. I'll take it. And any item you escape with, if we escape, we want this toolbox, because if we escape, any item that we have, when we escape, we get to carry with us and we can use in the next game. That's why I took the item there. And it will restore. So like, it's mostly used right now, but if I escape with it, it will become... if I escape with it, it'll become new again. Yeah, Sarah just played her first games of Dead by Daylight the other day, and she did really well. Okay, so he's throwing around his smoke to try to make me scream so he knows where I'm at. He's getting really desperate now to try to find me. The hatch is also probably close to where he is. He's probably found the hatch, and he's standing right by it. So this is a situation, guys, where at the end of a game, if you find the killer... If you find a killer like that, a lot of times they'll find the hatch quicker than you are because they move faster. So I know that a hatch is over there, especially when he's just staying in the same area. I got 1,000 points for stunning him there. Now I'm going to go try to get this hatch. And if I take a hit, I can jump in right after I take the hit. What I don't want to do is jump right now, because if I jump right now, he can grab me and pull me out of the hatch and then put me on a hook and kill me. So I want to let him hit me with his knife, not a bottle of the stuff. I want him to hit me with a knife, and then I'll be able to, I'll have time while he's stunned. Because anytime a killer hits you like that, he's stunned for a few seconds, like cleaning off his knife or his weapon before he can hit you again, and that gives you time to jump in the hatch. Again, it's going to take practice, you know, at these games. It's going to take practice in these scenarios before you get good at it like I just did. You're going to feel stupid a lot of times because you're going to get excited and you're going to go jump in that hatch, and he's going to grab you and pull you back out of the hatch. And when you complete these rituals, guys, like I escaped and collected a new item in the game, so I found that tool chest in the that toolbox in a chest, so I got a new item, so I completed that ritual. And then I also have now, in all my games, in both my games that I've played, I've repaired the equivalent of 3 full generators myself. So to claim these rituals, you just want to go ahead and click these check boxes, otherwise these things will continue to come up every time. And I claim those points. I also got all those points for those rituals, and that is how that works. So once you claim your rituals, you see how many points I scored in the game. You'll see that I got a ton of points in the game, 25,000 points in the game. And you'll see that that particular game right there, I got iridescent on all 4 aspects of the game. Evading the killer, saving people and healing them, because I saved the Meg a couple of times and healed her. Unbroken, the killer for the most part did not catch me, he never hooked me, so I got an iridescent there. And generator repairs, I also repaired plenty of generators in that game. More than my fair share of generators. You know, 4 survivors, 5 generators. I probably repaired at least 2 generators in that game, so that's why I got an iridescent there. And by getting 4 iridescents, I got 2 pips now. Notice the first game I didn't get any pips. I didn't lose a pip. I didn't do bad enough to lose a pip that first game. I escaped and everything, but I didn't get any pips. Well, this game I kind of made up for it because I did well enough to get 2 pips, and if I get 1 more pip, I'll be rank 19. So that is how that works. Once the killer is done talking, sometimes they'll be really angry about how the game went. They might disconnect really quickly, or that's what it seems like, is they're angry about how the game went and they'll disconnect quickly. But maybe they're just in a hurry to get on to their next game. Doesn't always mean they're angry. But you'll see my item gained. I gained that toolbox, and made a lot of progression that particular game on my level. And again, we see everybody's perks, everybody's rank. We were really close in rank, all the killers and survivors. This particular survivor had more perks than we did, but guys, we did well in that game. Nice escape. Thanks, Sarah. Nice, congrats. Thank you, Zax. Had a great teacher. And that's what I'm trying to do now, guys, is just give my knowledge and experience of the game to try to help new people out with the game, because I know this game, especially if you're playing it without somebody that's more experienced than you, you know, you're just wanting to play this game solo or whatever, you know, watching live streams is a great way. Watching other people live stream the game is going to help you a lot playing the game, and I think that's one reason Sarah did so well her first time, because she had watched me play for, you know, many months, watched me play many games, and to kind of see how the game works. So we're going to go ahead and leave here. Now I want you guys to notice something here. I have a lot of blood points here, and I did really well that last game, but I didn't automatically level up. Claudette did not level up right there. I have a lot of blood points. I don't have to level up Claudette, as I was saying before the last game. I could use these blood points to come in here and level up Bill or Meg if I wanted to, you know. But again, I told you guys to take Claudette and level her up, because that is my best advice, because I want to learn self-care. And what I want to do is, I already got self-care. You guys are probably thinking, well, you already got self-care, so why do you want to level her up, Zax? Well, I'm level 2 now because I finished that blood web. The reason you want to level Claudette up is because at level 40 on your blood web, on your level 40 blood web, you will have an orange perk, and it will be self-care. And when you get that, it's called a teachable self-care. It's a teachable perk. And she has teachable perks at level 30, 35, and 40. Every survivor has their 3 teachable perks that are default to them as teachables at level 30, 35, and 40. Usually the survivor's best perk is found at level 40. It's a teachable perk, and once you unlock that orange teachable perk, it means that all your other survivors will start getting that perk on their blood web. So before you learn that teachable perk, like for example, before I get that teachable, right now none of these other survivors have 0 chance of getting self-care on their blood web. But once I learn self-care, the teachable on Claudette, suddenly all my other survivors and any survivors I buy in DLC, suddenly they have the, you know, a chance of getting self-care on every blood web. Okay, so that's why you want to level her up and get that teachable self-care. That way all my other survivors can start getting self-care on their blood webs, and they can have that awesome, amazing perk. So we're going to go ahead and continue leveling up here. Remember, guys, Sarah, you're in my stream here. It does help to watch live streams. At least it did me. You can use Google and also look up various items and such. Yeah, you can use Google and you can put like Dead by Daylight in the search. If you're wanting to know what a perk does, or for example, you can put Dead by Daylight perks, Dead by Daylight survivor perks in the Google search, and I guarantee you'll come up with like wiki pages that will give you all the information you want. If you're wanting a specific perk, just put in Dead by Daylight. You know, if you want more information on this perk than what the game's giving you, put, you know, in Google search Dead by Daylight lightweight perk, and I guarantee you'll get information on Google about it. So again, remember, guys, when we're leveling our characters up on these blood webs, even though some items we already know a toolbox is really useful for helping us repair generators quicker in a game, but remember, this toolbox might only be a one-game item. If we die, we're going to lose that toolbox. Now, this is an add-on for an item, so this is an add-on for a healing kit. It adds more bandages. Basically, it means that a healing kit lasts longer or can help us heal more. This is an item that is going to create more mist in one game. Once we use this item, it's done. This is why on every blood web, you want to ignore the temptations to get all these nice offerings and items, and you want to look for your diamond-shaped perk first. We only have one perk on this blood web. Lightweight, it's a great perk. We're going to go ahead and get that. Even if it wasn't a good perk, even if we know just from watching other live streams or whatever that nobody ever uses this perk, we don't want it, you still want to get your perk first. The reason is because by getting this perk, you get it out of your way, so other more useful perks will spawn. If I keep like not getting unuseful perks, those same like crappy perks are going to continue to spawn over and over again when we could have good perks that we want. So like this is a perk that a lot of new players like. It kind of gives you an indicator when a killer looks in your direction. They have to be in a really close range, but it'll give you an indicator, you know, when the killer is looking at you, looking in your direction. So a lot of survivors like this perk. I never really like it. I'll never use this perk, but I still want to get this diamond-shaped perk first. That way it doesn't spawn on the, you know, on my 5th blood web and my 7th blood web and my 8th blood web. I want to get it out of the way, learn it, and then maybe I'll get a perk that I actually want next time. So yep, always find your diamond-shaped perk first, as we can see here. Again, that's a perk that I probably won't ever use, but I want to go ahead and grab it first. Just because perks are, getting the perks you want are, you know, abilities and advantages that you can use every single game rather than just one game, like these offerings and you know, items and add-ons. So again, we're going to take Hope, which is a new perk, and you'll see that we are spending our blood points that we earned. We are leveling up Claudette. She's now level 6. And again, Dark Sense, I don't like that perk either, but we're going to go ahead and get it out of the way. And we have used pretty much all our blood points, guys. We're now level 7 on Claudette. And remember that when we looked at our loadout before, we only had one perk that we could take. Now, because we passed level 5, we have the ability to take a second perk. So again, remember when we only had 3 perks here that we could choose from? Now suddenly we have, what, 9 different perks that we can choose from. So with the perks that I have here, guys, I'm probably going to take Empathy here. It's another Claudette specific perk that's specific to her. I believe once you get her to level 30 or 35, you'll unlock Empathy. So this is a good situation where if you didn't know what level you need to get Claudette to learn the teachable for Empathy, you could, you know, you could Google it and find out. You know, dogs, be quiet. Anyway, sorry about the barking, guys. Yeah, exactly. That's another good point, Sarah. Sarah, Fairy Girl's his name, Sarah. Her name is Sarah. But yeah, you may not like a perk right now, or it may not benefit you now. But remember, things are always changing in this game, guys. So they've already changed a good number of perks that weren't useful, or that, you know, survivors weren't using very much, killers as well. They've changed a lot of perks already, completely changed the way a perk works, or made perks more powerful. So changes can happen all the time. So just because you don't like a perk now, doesn't mean that the perk won't be really useful later on. So for example, you know, for example, this perk right here, each time you complete a generator, the killer's aura is revealed to you for 5 seconds. When the last generator is powered, the killer's aura is revealed to you for 5 seconds. So right now, we can kind of see all the killers in the game. Let's say I don't really like this perk because, you know, I already know where the killers are. I can tell by the heartbeat. I can kind of see the killers myself. I don't want to waste a perk on knowing the killer's aura for 5 seconds every time a generator is repaired. But, you know, to me, it's not going to be that useful. Maybe to a newer player, it would be nice. But let's imagine that a new killer was introduced to the game. And tons of people were playing this new killer, like almost every game for the first, you know, few weeks after this killer was introduced. Everybody was playing this killer. And let's just say this killer was invisible, was completely invisible, and you couldn't see him at all. Dark Sense might be a perk that you would want to start taking in that situation because it is going to show where the killer is at for 5 seconds. So just one example of how a perk that you may not use now might be useful later on. But right now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take Empathy. I like this perk probably better than anything else. I do like Will Make It, but I like to get a higher level, like Will Make It 2 or 3 before I equip it. Lightweight is also really good. When you run, remember you leave those glowing tracks. It'll make those glowing tracks disappear a second earlier. So if you have Lightweight 2, it's going to be 2 seconds earlier. And if you have Lightweight 3, it's going to make those glowing tracks you leave when you're running disappear 3 seconds earlier. It can save your butt, especially if you like to run around a lot. Lightweight can be a great perk that can get you out of trouble and help you lose chases more often. Okay? So, really good perk, especially when you get it up to level 2 and 3. But right now, guys, we're going to go ahead and take Empathy. I think with the choices I have, Empathy is going to help show me other auras of other survivors when they're injured, or when they're injured within a pretty good distance. For level 1, it's going to show me injured auras of other survivors within 32 meters. So I'm going to go ahead and take Empathy. Oops. And I want to go ahead and take Self-Care as well. So if I wanted to swap these around, it doesn't really matter what order you put these in. But that's going to be my 2 perks now. And we're going to see if that helps us out. We're going to keep our toolbox that we got in the last game. We do have some add-ons, so we could, you know, if you equip an item and then you go to add-ons, you'll see that you have the ability to put 2 add-ons on an item, and you can kind of look at what this does. Hey, this increases my repair speed. Let's go ahead and put that on, and we can put another add-on on this toolbox. Increases the repair speed as well. Moderately increases the toolbox repair speed, and slightly increases the toolbox repair speed. Wow! And notice how it says stacks below it. That's important to know, guys. Stacks means that these 2 items are going to be added together. So if they don't say stacks, then it means, only the item that's the best, the add-on that's the best is going to work. But since both of them say stacks, it means it's going to add these 2 bonuses together. And we're going to get a nice bonus on our repair speed by having those 2 items on there. We can look at our offerings, and we can see that, hey, we can use this offering to start the trial with somebody else at random. It'll pick somebody randomly to start. We'll start the game by somebody else. We can also increase our personal luck. I believe this gives you luck. It's like when you open chests, maybe you get a better item, or increases your chance of jumping off a hook. If we ever get desperate and have to try to jump off a hook, it might increase our default, percentage of jumping off the hook from 4% to 5%. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers would be. Another Google search right here would probably give you those specific, modifiers. But let's just go ahead, guys, and let's just go ahead and get some extra blood points. If we take this one here, we're going to get 50% bonus blood points that we earn in one of the 4 categories. We're going to get 50% more blood points that we earn if we survive. All our survival points, they're going to give 50% bonus on that particular aspect of the game. And now we're ready, guys. We got both of our perks equipped. We've chosen our 2 best perks, or what we believe are our 2 best perks from our perks we've unlocked. We've got us a nice toolbox equipped. And we've got us some extra blood points. We're ready to go ahead and join the lobby. Now you can add those items and offerings while you're waiting in the lobby as well. while you're waiting for other survivors to ready up or whatever. Again, remember guys, when you join a lobby, always look down here and look at your ping. Sometimes the ping will jump up really high for a couple of seconds. That's a lot of times happens when a killer is looking at somebody's profile. So a killer can see everybody's names. You know, he's looking at everybody in his game. He can click on somebody and he can click their name and bring up their Steam profile. And sometimes they'll do that to try to see how many hours somebody has in the game, or, you know, or whatnot. Heading off to do some chores and things. Zaxtorian99, have a great night. Thanks so much, Red Mouse, and great game, by the way. Congratulations on Red Mouse, guys. I don't know her yet, but she introduced her first game on Steam. I'm sure she's already seen my video that I made for her game last night. For her game that she made. What was the name of that game? Daniel something. Yeah, let me look at that. Damned Daniel was the name of that RPG game. Yep. Oh yes, self-care services. Damned Daniel. Yep, so congratulations on introducing Damned Daniel as your first game on Steam, Red Mouse. I look forward to seeing what you come up with next. So keep up the good work if you're still here. And I just did a playthrough of that game, or a playthrough of the first part of that game last night in a video. Live stream if you guys want to check that out. It's only $1.19 right now, guys, on Steam. So again, guys, as our game loads, we see that we have another completely new killer that we haven't faced yet in this live stream. First, we faced against the nurse, then we faced the clown, and now we just got information at the bottom of the screen while the game loads saying we're facing the trapper next. The trapper is a killer that can place bear traps and hide them in the grass. You got to be really careful when you're facing the trapper. Because if you get snagged in a trap, the trapper's probably going to come and snag you out of the trap and put you on a hook before you have a chance to escape. And also, even if you do escape the bear trap, you're going to be injured. And sometimes, based on if the killer puts add-ons on his traps, remember killers can place add-ons on their items as well. And they can place items or add-ons on their traps to make them put you in a dying state, even if you escape a trap. A dying state rather than an injured state. So again, guys, we see the temptation to run over there for the lights and the generator. Again, a good way to find generators is to look for those lights in the sky. When you start off a game, I highly recommend you avoid the temptation immediately to run to a generator. What I would wait for, guys, is I would play really stealthy and hide and just kind of stay hidden until you see somebody being chased like that. Now I know somebody's been hit, they're being chased. Now I'm going to race my ass over here to this generator and start using this OP toolbox I just put add-ons on. And I'm going to start trying to repair this generator while they're being hooked, while they're being chased. Because I know the killer's not going to come after me right now while he's hooking her. And the only reason I saw their aura, guys, while they were injured, I knew where they were, was because of that new perk I just added called Empathy. That's the only way I saw where that survivor was. And as you can see, with those add-ons on that toolbox, you can see how much faster, or you might notice how much faster I'm repairing this generator just because of those add-ons on the toolbox. I'm listening for the heartbeat. I know from experience this trapper has a loud heartbeat, so if he's close, I'm definitely going to hear his heartbeat really loud. I'm going to repair this generator. I want to get it done so he doesn't kick it and break it. And then, if nobody else has went in to save this guy, I'm going to go in to save this guy. Okay, so he's coming after me. Nope. So if you stun a killer like that, you will get, he went back to the hook because somebody got trapped. So we're going to go ahead and self-care here. He's going to pick them up. We want to get the save before this guy dies. He's already in a dying state. He's already struggling. We see traps, so against the trapper, you gotta watch out for all these traps. I want to try to get this guy saved to give this guy a chance. Okay, he came and smacked me down, but at least I saved Meg. Also, anytime you get downed, a lot of times, guys, try to crawl away and hide and hide yourself so the killer can't find you. And you want to try to crawl away from wherever you got downed at. In most situations, you want to try to crawl away before you start trying to recover. And hide yourself in some grass. So in this situation, guys, I'm going to try to crawl all the way over here in this grass behind this tree and hope this killer doesn't see me. And then once I'm hidden, I'm going to go ahead and start trying to recover. And the other person disconnected. Okay. So there's no point in me recovering right now. I don't get any points for recovering. Everybody is either dead or has basically rage quit the game. These other two people did not they didn't lose their internet connection. They got mad or angry with the way the game was going. And he found me. So in this situation, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and let him take me to a hook. He's probably going to hook me. Yeah, he is. But sometimes when you're the last person, instead of trying to struggle out of the way, and this is a game, guys, where we died. And this is a game where we didn't die because of us playing poorly. We died because the other survivors didn't play well. And this is going to happen a lot. You know, not everybody's always going to have a good game. You're not always going to have a good game. If too many mistakes are made by survivors, pretty much everybody's going to die. And this happens a lot. So, notice this game here. We didn't lose a pip. I'm surprised we didn't lose a pip. But we had rank progress 0, which means we didn't lose a pip. We didn't gain a pip, so we remained right where we're at. And this killer didn't even give us a GG in the chat. They just left. It's alright. But we see here, guys, that even though we had a bad game, we only scored 5,000 points. We still had a better game than these other people. If you rage quit the game, if you just like hit escape and disconnect from the game, you will get 0 points. And look at all these perks these other survivors had, and they ended up rage quitting. So keep in mind as well, guys, that if you do this too often, if you rage quit when you get mad because you get killed or hooked or whatever, if you do this too often, you can get banned by the developers of Dead by Daylight. So if you're quitting like, you know, a third of your games or 25% of your games, even if you're like just rage quitting 25% of your games, one game every 4 like this, be careful because you could get banned by the developers. I mean, the first time they ban you, they're probably going to give you like a 2 or 3 day suspension from playing the game. And if you keep doing this, you know, you'll eventually get banned where you can't play the game anymore. So be careful of that.
Zach, go to the apartments.
Be careful of that, guys. So also keep in mind as well that if you die and you don't escape a match, you're going to lose any items that you carried into the game. So right here, we have another toolbox here, but we had 2 of them. But like those other add-ons I had, I don't have all those other add-ons. I lost the add-ons and the toolbox because I died. So keep that in mind as well. Yeah, see, I don't have the cloth to give me speed anymore. Alright. Yeah, I had a socket and a rag that helped increase the speed, and this is just making the toolbox last longer. So, we're going to go ahead and come down here and try to get, again, our perk first. We don't have enough blood points, however, though. We only have 1,700. We need 4,000 to get that next perk. So, but we're on the path to get there. We're going to go ahead and join another lobby. See if we can have a better game this game. How you doing? Darkios, good to see you, man.
Is it daily IRL?
No, it's every hour.
Really?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing, guys? But hopefully already, hopefully I've given you guys, you know, if you're watching this stream or you're watching this video later, you know, hopefully I've given you guys at least a few pointers if you're new to the game. You know, how to do your blood web, what to look for, what character to start with, kind of, you know, some tips on how to play the game, how to start off stealthy, how to hide from the killer and put something between you and the killer. As we saw in the game before last, how not to freak out just because the killer is really close to you, or even if he walks right by you. Sometimes if you're in a good hiding location, just stay put, because if you run out in front of him, he's definitely going to see you.
Cover over 1. This one? Yeah. And then you can type whatever.
Alright. Again, we're waiting for a lobby to start here. And while I wait for a lobby to start, guys, I'm going to go ahead and make a quick call. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, no guys, my game crashed. As you can see, let me show you guys, my game did crash. And with that, guys, I'll probably do some more of this survivor tips. I'll probably do another live stream a little bit later today and show you guys more pointers. Maybe we'll get more viewers in that stream. But yeah, I got company coming over, so I'm going to go ahead and end this stream right here, guys. I want to go ahead and thank you guys for watching. And look for part 2 of this live stream, where I'll probably go over some of the tips I've already done. But hopefully, like I said, hopefully I've given you guys some pointers and some tips on how to start off in Dead by Daylight. If you're watching this video, if so, be sure you comment down below, let me know. And sometimes your game will crash like this. In this situation, I would always send this report, because, you know, sending this is going to help the developers figure out what happened and maybe make their game better. So I would always send these crash reports to the developers. So hit the send button. I want to thank you guys for watching. Sarah, thanks so much for coming in and moderating. Be sure you like this video, guys, if this has helped you out or you enjoyed this video. And I'll be back later today, guys, probably with part 2 of my Survivor, my brand new Survivor gameplay playthrough. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.
Save the props in your house.